I read a Scientific American article today written by Asher Marks, who is the director of pediatric neuro-oncology at the Yale University School of Medicine. In his role as a physician to families of children with cancer, he has had to sit by those families many times as those families watch their children breathe their last. He points out that the overall survival and outcome rate of pediatric cancers over the last 4 decades has improved remarkably. But the cure rates of the most malignant pediatric brain tumors are just as tragic as they have been. Yet in his role, he tries to provide hope to families whose children are suffering. And his hope is offered through the faith that he undyingly believes in the success of science to find cures. The science he puts his faith in often lets him down, though, and he shares a story of a family he recently had to be with and treat, and he had to attend this child's funeral online. What frustrated him about science is that not only did it fail to provide a cure for this cancer, but science has been unable to put a stop of the spread of this virus that is keeping this family apart, that is forcing them to do an online funeral when they needed to be near one another the most. And yet the family who lost their child throughout this experience shared an unshakable faith in God, in God's grace. Dr. Marks closed the article by quoting Carl Sagan, who said this: "Science is not only compatible with spirituality, it is a profound source of spirituality." Sagan is referring to his belief not in God, but in science itself to provide answers to human dilemmas. Marx, in his shaken faith in this science, closed the article by saying this: "This had thus far defined my own faith, but I sure could use a backup right about now." There's a line from the New Testament that has always had a big impact on me. We read, "In this you rejoice, even now for a little while you have had to suffer various trials." And I've always been struck by what that little while is. Many years ago, I shared with a relative of mine who was suffering a medical problem for quite a while, and I quoted this verse thinking that this little while of her experience would be the salve that she needed to keep going on with a cheerful attitude. But that salve didn't quite work the way I thought it would. I guess when a person is suffering, the present is the only time frame that we're concerned about. Sometimes there are just no words that we can say. I personally don't see any conflict between science and faith. I've studied both at the highest level, and I have experienced both on a very profound level. But what we can all carry with us in these long days, in these various trials of isolation, quarantine, missing our families, is that God has given us a new birth in the living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ.